You family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much, family, on your own terms. Thanks to every single person that has supported the channel. We appreciate, love you so much. Go ahead and consider supporting for as little as $2 on Patreon or through a love donation through PayPal. Special shout out to Anthony. Thank you so much for your generous support, your continuous support, and so many others. Doran Tate. Oh my gosh, I really should have a list when like an extensive list when I start listing people's names, because there's so many who have been supporting us throughout the system, and we're so grateful for all your support, family. We really appreciate, love you so much. I'm looking for the names: Ralph, Kia, Abisola, Bams, Sarah, Martin, Rosie, as I mentioned, Doran Tate, always supporting us, Talib, Glenn, Charlemagne, Colleen, and many, many others. We appreciate, love you so much. Let me just say my sister here, but is it Patricia? Yeah, and Patricia, Philip, Winslow, Eugenia. Thank you so much, family, for your continued support of the channel. You literally are the reason that we continue to bring the news. Now, this was shared with me with someone who wanted me to talk about it. You can always share news stories. Please share the articles, not the YouTube links, because we don't watch YouTube. In fact, they're just directly deleted. Anything that says watch is just deleted. And it's all about how the British Army is actually on the spot over use of chemical weapons in Kenya. And I've released a story on the main channel, which is now, I usually release stories once a week. I started maybe a month ago, all related to Kenya, because Kenya is the womb of the world. It is Eden. It is the seat of revival. Revival is already here. A great visitation has been prophesied for so long that it would happen through Kenya and impact the rest of the motherland and then spread across the world. So that channel is focusing on that, the great Bantu awakening that is underfoot. But I really wanted to cover this as a news story as well, not in a stage of, oh my God, look what they're doing now. But let me just give you a bit of detail. So the British Army Training Unit in Kenya on November 14th defended its use of white phosphorus during military drills in Kenya, clarifying that it was only used under strict safety precautions. The chemical, which has been a cause of concern to environmentalists as well as pastoralists, the Maasai, the Samburu, the Turkana communities in Laikipia and Samburu counties, is used for night illumination during training. It can cause fire, and it looks like fire dropping from the sky. It's very dangerous, and although it's not as banned as a weapon, the chemical can cause fire to rain down on targets, inflicting indiscriminate and damage, and is really not recommended during dry seasons. Don't forget, Kenya has been in a freaking drought for a couple of years, family. We've been in a drought situation, and they talk about how international law requires that it should not be used in areas occupied by civilians. And the herdsmen from a Losei village in Samburu East fear that the chemical might find its way to water points or residues washed into their grazing fields and affect them. And so, the British tried to say, oh, we did this, oh, we did that. But the community members living around Loidaga have in the past been embroiled in a legal tussle where it was actually now declared that they can sue the British Army over a fire that was sparked during military training. I talked about this, where they destroyed 10,000 acres, family, which is like 8,000 hectares or something like that, 10,000 acres. And then all these things were leaked, where this British soldier came and said, high off cocaine, they lit this fire and all this stuff. So there's been a lot of negativity. But that's not even why I'm sharing this story. The reason I'm sharing this story, family, is because we're now on spiritual time. We're now in the realm of the ancestors. We're now on ancestral time. The spiritual realm and the physical realm are now like this together, which means that we are not helpless in such situations. Our ancestors are now in control. So before, Kenyans, we can read this, we can tweet about it, we can make news stories about it, but that's the most that we can do. That was what used to happen before. But now, family, it's a different scenario, because we can call in on our ancestors to help us from the spiritual realm, to accelerate the judgment of the enemies of our soul, to protect us where our politicians and others are willing to sell us out. That's the level we need to go on. That's why it's so critical to connect to our ancestors. That's why we are an ancestral people ever since the beginning. Because family, these are not the first aliens to try and come and occupy Mama Earth. These are not the first enemies to try and come and penetrate Mount Zion. Why would they take such a risk? You know, I talked about family, how people need to stop getting into this Wakanda vibe. I talked about boycotting the first Wakanda. I've not even given the second Wakanda energy. But it was released recently and there was so much hoopla. I think even the weekend before the 14th, and there was, all these Kenyans went, did all the Wakanda signs, dressed up. And I've already told you that Wakanda, the movie, is a psychic military operation where they're trying to penetrate the Wakanda that exists within Mount Zion. This so-called military exercise that was carried out by the British government was carried out close to Mount Zion. Laikipia is like the place where Mount Zion is, one of the counties where Mount Zion is. Why would they put so many people at risk during a dry season? Why would they put Kenya at risk? Why would they take such a risk even for their international shame? It's because they were riding. Now, this is just my opinion. If you get it, you get it. This is my spiritual analysis of everything that's going on. Because we know these guys are not operating on this physical level. They're operating on a spiritual level. Because literally, they've come out and, I don't know, General this and Army Commander that have said, oops, my bad for using dangerous chemical weapons. But it's already done. That's what they knew. They'll get a tap on the hand. So why did they do it to begin with? Because they're still trying to get to the inner earth. They're still trying to get to Wakanda. They're still trying to get to the Ark of the Covenant that is here in Kenya, in Mount Zion. They're still trying. And they're running out of time, which is why they would take such a dangerous risk. And don't forget, we have 3,000 British troops occupying Kenya right now in the name of training. But it's because they're still trying to get to the inner earth. They're still trying to penetrate it. They actually are dumb enough to think that they can penetrate it physically, that it's a wall they need to go through, that they need to bomb this part of the mountain or bomb that part of the mountain or build underground cities like they've done. There's workers who have told me there's underground cities that exist, family. Where, those doomsday whatevers that they were building, literally they're there. Some worker who's a pastor even came and told me, the houses that the Bible says we will not build but we shall occupy or whatever, that will be built by others and we shall occupy, they are now there. They have highways and everything underground. But they still have not been able to get to the inner earth. First of all, do they even understand dimensions? Do they really think like they can just build a road and get to inner earth? Agartha, a place that was designed by the highest level beings who wanted to hide from them but still remain here so they could still help Mama Earth to maintain a certain vibration. Like, these guys they're so long, man. They're so ignorant. It's just, they're so spiritually ignorant. And they've made the world think they're the most clever. Everything is always checking out our tombs. I heard like recently they had maybe found the tunnel to Cleopatra's tomb, which they were now gonna dig. Have they even ever dug out like Alexander the Great's tomb? How come we never complain? But family, all I can say now is that, the time to panic and be in a situation is over. Because we're now in the ark. Whatever will be, but we can call on our ancestors. Whenever you see stories like this, call on the ancestors to intervene. Tell them, we've been sold out by our mighty ancestors, glorious spiritual family that walks with me daily, that comforts me in this hell on earth. Once again, we're hearing of the British releasing dangerous chemical weapons that threaten our waters, that threaten our forests, that threaten our people, that threaten our animals. And those who are in leadership are puppets of these people. They can't even say anything to these people. Liberate us, almighty ancestors. Come on our behalf and do what you need to do in the spiritual realm. Connect with us and give us a spiritual solution that will rid us of this curse once and for all. So whether they're stealing the diamonds in your nation, whether they're stealing the rubies in your nation, whether they're creating instability, whether they're trying to create war, whether they're trying to remove or put in place a puppet president, and you see it as a chosen one, as one who is awakening, petition your ancestors to intervene. And then go back to the very critical business of awakening and preparing yourself for a new earth that is already here. Tuko pamoja.